Hi, it's been a while. I wanted to bring you up to speed on what I've been up to and a really cool interview that I'll be posting shortly. It's been a while since I posted. I've taken most of the summer off, partly because I've been going through a tech conversion on my business, but mostly I've been posting on Facebook. That's what's been happening. I just looked at my numbers and it's kind of amazing because I was just posting about things socially, economically, politically, what's happening in the government. And I've been posting to my personal feed. You can follow me, Lisa Peterson. And it turns out that people have really enjoyed those postings. I'm also posting on Substack. And so I haven't been as focused on YouTube, but I'm back. And my Substack is called Equal Stake with Lisa Peterson. Love to see you there. I'll put the notes to connect in Facebook or on Substack together. That would be awesome. But here's what is on my mind at the moment. I've been following some investment models for the past 9 months, right about the time that the election took place. I decided to make some big changes, and I couldn't, in good conscience, continue to do buy and hold investing anymore. And keep in mind, I have a 30-year history of working as a financial advisor, certified financial planner. I got my MBA in the early 90s. And most recently, I've been working with a socially responsible investment advisor who was focused on impact investing. And I really liked it. But after the election, I did not feel comfortable with buy and hold. And so I let my financial advisor go and I started working with a good friend of mine. His name is Todd Tresidder, a financial mentor. He's actually based in Reno, Nevada. We've known each other for many, many years, and I've always been intrigued. He used to run a hedge fund and he sold that company. And then I knew that he had been helping and mentoring clients over the years. But in all fairness, I thought that working with him was very, very expensive. But when I realized I wanted to no longer do the buy and hold, and I knew that Todd had been talking about things, that there was a big epochal change happening with investing. And he'd been talking about this for several years, the buildup, especially by 2021, that some fundamentals with the market had changed, particularly with stock investing. And I was really intrigued by that, but I didn't know if I could actually afford to work with him. Turns out it's incredibly affordable. And I reached out, I found out how to sign up for the access to the models that he's created that have done very, very well over time. And I invested my time and my energy and my retirement account and began using those models at the end of last year. Over that time, those models have done very well. There was some growing pains, some challenges. I did not use Todd's models in the beginning. I didn't actually even know they existed. He is so mild-mannered. He didn't even like sell me on his programs. I just knew that I was supposed to try market the Allocate Smartly app. And then as I got into it and I started to face some challenges, I reached out to him and found out that his models were outperforming pretty much everyone else on this platform. And I switched over. But part of the reason that I reached out to Todd was that if you watched a video that I created a few months back about the book, The Fourth Turning is Here, that we are at this time, the end of the fourth turning, that is part of the reason why we're seeing so much unrest in the world, whether it be economically speaking, with our national debt and the changes in the political environment and the issues that we're facing with wars in Ukraine and the issues going on with Gaza and Israel, like so much friction happening out there in the world. It is not a coincidence. We are entering the phase of what Neil Howe in his book talked about, the end of this fourth turning, this fourth phase of 100-year cycle that started right about 1930 And as it comes to fruition, things get more difficult to make money through investing, more difficult when you look at something like inflation. You get political unrest, you get government changes, so much going on that creates a lot of instability in the world. What's really important, as I am more retired than less retired, I'm in a phase of my life where it's very important that I protect my assets so that they last for the rest of my life. And and because of that, the way that I invest needs to be cognizant of what could happen if a big market drop were to happen, right? 30, 40, 50% decrease in the stock market would have a significant effect on myself and my husband or other people that are of the age where you're getting ready to or have already retired. And so, yeah, that was on my mind because I know that we're not making as much as we used to. It's not about saving, it's about preserving, it's about making sure that we can draw down the money in our assets and not have it cause us to not be able to sleep at night, for example. And all of what I've been teaching, both here on this YouTube channel, in my Facebook and Substack posts, and the books that I've been reviewing and sharing, all come together to really indicate that now is the time that we need to think about, not just same old status quo, but shaking things up, trying different approaches, keeping our minds open to the changes. And how are we going to take care of what it is that we've built? How are we going to take care of our health, our safety, our choices, our freedoms? All of those things are on the line. And if I could, the way I thought of it is if I could get my investments in a place where I felt really good about them, that could create some sense of stability in a world that doesn't really offer much of that at the moment. And that's exactly what happened. And so I invited Todd to come on the show, and I'm so grateful he accepted. And so the next episode that I will be posting will be between Todd and I talking about where are we right now? How did he come into these models? Why are the models so much more successful, not just for this time, which they are, but they've also been very successful leading up to this. And so he talks about why they've been so effective, why now is the time. If you're ever going to think about making a change with your investments, why now matters, and some of my own experiences. And also we try to keep the conversation really basic so that anyone could understand it. And you're more than welcome to ask any questions of myself or Todd in the comments, because we'd be happy to get back to you and let you know. I'm sure that some questions are going to come up. Don't be shy. We'd love to help you. The whole entire point, and we talk about this towards the end of the conversation, is both of us are in a stage of our lives where it's about giving back. This isn't about making a whole bunch of money off of you. This isn't even about having these, ridiculously high returns on your investments. What we're talking about is a solid strategy to help you with your investments that is preventing or trying to prevent these huge swings that can happen and have happened in the past with the stock market, are likely to happen again, and how you can protect your assets around that sort of market behavior. So yeah, I think all said, I'm not really feeling great about what's happening in this country. I don't like the way that people are being treated, Black, Brown, Indigenous. The fact that you have to be worried about, what you look like, or it's just absolutely ridiculous that we found ourselves in a time and place where the freedoms that we have treasured all of our lives are being threatened for so many people. And it breaks my heart. And so I will continue to speak out and write posts about what isn't working for me and what it means when a governor and a president are rigging elections to make sure that they can keep control of the House. Like, I'm going to continue to be outspoken about those things. Money plays into all of this. I will continue to share how important the conversation of money is in the grand scheme of our lives at this moment. I truly believe that the more understanding you are about money and the dynamics of how money is showing up in politics, how money is showing up in investing, how money is being managed by the government, all of these things affect you each and every day. Things like inflation, and the idea that we could see very, very high inflation in the not too distant future is quite concerning. So I'm going to continue to talk about those things, the things that I'm concerned about. I'm going to research and give you as much information as I can about those topics. And I welcome your questions. If this is helpful to you, please let me know in your comments. Let me know what you're thinking about and what's on your mind, because whether we like it or not, and whether we want to put our heads in the sand or we're ready to like learn and take agency over our lives, I think now we are entering a place and time where we are not going to have any choice but to show up more fully for our lives than ever before. So thank you for being here. Definitely watch the conversation with Todd. It's going to be fabulous. I can't wait to hear your feedback and questions. And thanks so much for subscribing.